Yo, what's up guys, it's me, Paradox Gaming here with a new how to game video. In this video we are going to be going over how to increase your damage from early to late game. Okay, so there is a lot of things that we are going to go through. First of all, we're going to go through swords and bows, then we are going to go through like accessory things, and then we are going to go through armor sets, and finally extra little pieces. But before we do all of that, we need to go through the most important thing to increasing your damage. Now I say this is early to late game. It's kind of like early game, mid game, and then like just after mid game when you're transitioning into late game, because it depends what you count as late game or end game, because I count end game as once you've got your Midas. That is like that's the second, so like we'll get what you want to get, and then after that you want to buy a Midas. So a Midas, which is one of the best weapons. I don't know whether it's the best weapon anymore because Dungeons is confusing. So yeah, floor 6 is the weapons in there. Some people say them better. I don't know, I have no clue, but yeah, let's get straight into the video. So to start off, what are the ways you can increase your damage? Well, the best ways to increase your damage there's basically 3 different ways. So increasing your strength, increasing your crit damage, or increasing the pure damage of the weapon. So they are the 3 things. You can then also increase your DPS, so damage per second, by increasing your crit chance and bonus attack speed. They help but are not necessary. So as you can see, we have all our weapons. We should go through them later. But first of all, the first way to go through them is by using your accessory bag. As you can see, I have tons of accessories of all different rarities. Some are cheap to get, some are expensive to get. Now, I am not going to be going through the talismans, but you want to get as many talismans as you want. Normally, you want to get all the talismans worth up to the same price as your sword. Roughly, that's a rough estimate of what I have. Like, or maybe like, I don't know. But like, the most expensive talisman I have is either one of these 2. They're worth about 2 mil. I have this sword. This is my sword, which is worth about 15 mil. But like, after 2 mil, then they get really expensive and not worth it. But like, while you're at Rager's aspect to the end, 200k per talisman isn't that bad. For example, on my minions profile, when I finished, I had this Rager's axe. So yeah, but this aspect of the dragon is only 2 upgrades, and the aspect of the end is more of a utility weapon, like the Rager's axe. They're good for around 250k, like before you get aspect of the dragons, which costs around 3 mil. Because like you keep them until you still have them at end game, even though this is mine, this isn't, and this isn't, because you have the instant transmission and extra coins per kill. Extra bonus things. You then have the undead sword at the start, but we'll go through them later. So you have talismans and different reforges. Now reforges, you can go back to my first videos and look at my first videos on this channel. They'll also be in the top right hand of the corner for what reforges you want them on, and I shall link that in the top right corner, as I said. But they basically differ on like strength on their reforge and the rarity. So a legendary on strong, you get +8 strength and +8% crit damage, and it's enriched, but enrichments are only for late game players. I have 1 enrichment because they are very expensive. But for example, on my minionless profile, this was a 250 coin weapon with a 400k talisman, which isn't this one, but I had the exact same one on my profile. So yeah, they're worth different prices. I should also link 30 Virus's video on talismans in what order you should get from easiest to hardest, and yeah, and like in price order to, and anyway. But yeah, as you can see, there's tons of different. I've got mine all on forceful and strong for legendaries, but that is personal preference just to make it easy. Now, if you do want the proper reforges, go to my past videos. Now, the only difference there is for the swords, I got it wrong. Instead of legendary, you want sharp. Unless you need, if you need the crit chance, if you need the crit chance, because of course crit chance over 100% is useless, then you want sharp. But otherwise you want legendary, because like legendary you get less crit damage, but although it decreases the damage, it increases the DPS because of the added attack speed. So yeah, that is talismans. Of course, 30 virus links in the top corner earlier. And yeah, next let's get on to weapons. So first of all, let's go into a private lobby and we shall go through the weapons. So the weapons that you will want to go through is you want to start out with your undead sword, go into your raider's axe, then your aspect to the end. You might only want to get one and skip the other because they're around the same price. Just one you can teleport, one you can gain coins on kill. Like, I won't get any coins from that because it's not level 10. But it is what it is. So first of all, let's do a damage test with 0 on. So the enchantments are as follows. So on the undead sword, you just want to use an enchantment table. You want either first strike 4, but that's hard to get, or you want something like sharpness 4, sharpness 5, smite 4, smite 5. So you want something along the lines of those. We do 12.5k damage. Now this will vary massively depending on yourself, because of course you will, if you are using a undead sword, you obviously won't have a combat 25 and foraging 22, which both increase your strength and damage to mobs, like percentage damage to mobs. So you obviously won't do that, and you obviously won't have anywhere near the same amount of talismans. Then if we go to the raider's axe, you do 18.8k. And then with the aspect at the end, you'll probably do slightly less, but it's a more useful weapon, and you should keep it until late game, so 15.8k. Now, the difference will be roughly the same, however, like, the actual damage will be, like, equally less. So, because most things is, like, equivalent, not multiplicative. I can't really say that word. But aspect to the end, 33k, and then wart aspect to the end, video on this weapon alone, coming out either this week or next week, sometime soon, 43k. Then then you go on to the special buffs. So you have a mana flux, an OO flux, and a weird tuber. So normally you won't have any of them until you might have a radiant power orb, until you get at least the aspect of the dragon. With the aspect of the dragon you might have a mana flux. I need Wolfslayer 6 to use that. Can I use this? Okay, so the howl you'll only have with this. Of course, I'm borrowing both of them. It looks like it's increased my damage by about 2k. I just did more damage. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, they're the things that can increase your damage, and then of course pots. Now I highly suggest the second you've got one of these weapons, you get some cookies on, get I think it's 500 bits, so it might be 1,000, and get your god pot on and have all these effects, because as you can see I have them all for 13 hours, you get them for 24. Stuff like, there are certain ones that can increase your damage, so strength can, critical can, and a few others, like there is, I think, one more that also gives you speed and crit damage somewhere. Spirit, that's it, plus 40% crit damage. So they can really increase your damage by like a ton. Like I think it increases in about like probably like 30k, which at this stage of the game, until your late game and you got Midases and stuff, that's a lot. Now let's go to the bow progression. It goes bow and then a savannah bow, but I cannot find a savannah bow anywhere. Rapid, magma bow, and then an Runar's bow. Why, I don't know why I'm saying the reforge. So I shall just do a quick damage test with them on. So I will need some magma cream. I shall just buy that. Give me some magma cream. Okay, right, so normal bow, you do 5.5k, not that much, but of course you don't have any armor. Magma bow with magma cream, it's 34k, I think that is. Yeah, 34k, and with the Runans, I don't crit, but with rune arms I do, what was that, 27k I think it was, which is slightly less, but of course you have the two side arrows. 7k, wait, how much did the magma bow do? I am utterly confused. Give me a second. If you put the thing in the quiver, does it? No, okay, so magma bow is like 10 times better than the rune arms, but I don't exactly know why. Is the enchants are the same? This one's better. Stats, they're rough. This one's better, but yeah, I don't know. But magma bow seems to be way better. But then, of course, this is better for dragon fights because of the side arrow that does 40% damage. So in reality, they're both quite good, but this is way cheaper and this is better for dragons, but this is better for everything else. So the bows are confusing, but if you want to be like archer in dungeons for like floor 1 or entrance, I would add a savannah bow in there, but I cannot find any anywhere. Okay, next we move on to armor. So I've laid them all out on page 2. So first of all, you want to go with your diamond armor, then you want your lapis armor, then your ender armor, then you want either young or strong. They're both the same price. Strong does more damage, but of course young gives you speed. So yeah, we should be doing a damage comparison with the aspect at the end just to keep it consistent, but normally it goes roughly with like, so with this you probably want the lapis or the diamond, with this you want ender, with this you want strong or young. So yeah, let's just do a comparison. So it was 33k with nothing, 36k with this one. Now you will get a ton more health. You can look at my health in the bottom left. With this one it's okay, that counted as a sword swap. 64k, only a tiny bit more. In fact, it probably won't make any difference at all because they're the same rarity. However, you of course get more damage. Ender armor, it is 39k, but of course that in the end, if we do warp drag, it does more in the end. In fact, it might do more than some other sets. So in the end we do 62k, that is a lot, but of course that's to an enderman. If we do it with no armor in the end, then of course it will be more because of Ender Slayer, because that's 40k rather than 33k. Then we move on to young armor. If we go back to the hub, young armor, of course you get the speed, so it'll be like less damage than the strong. With Tower Helm, of course you've got to remember the Tower Helm because you get more damage, especially if your talismans are on forceful than strong. So we do 40k, and of course it's 33k normally, so that is slightly more than the ender. And then with strong finally we do 53k, so that is a big increase for strong and Tower Helm. But of course you get 1 crit damage per 10 strength, and of course when you have this much strength, because all my talismans are on forceful, that is 54 crit damage, and 54 crit damage is a lot of extra damage. So yeah, that is how to increase your damage. That's what the progression path through the weapons, armor, weapons, bows, and extra things and talismans are. You should definitely get as many talismans as possible. I can't stress this enough. Talismans are probably it's the second most important thing to your damage. In fact, the most I haven't even talked about is foraging and combat level, because it's 4% extra damage every time you have a new combat level, and an extra 2 strength every time you got foraging. So of course foraging is way less important, and of course the combat is multiplicative, so like every time it multiplies your damage rather than increases your damage. That's why talismans, I think strength is like adding to your damage, but like crit damage is multiplicative, but like way less. So yeah, that's how it works. So you kind of want a balance. But apart from that, hope you enjoyed. If this video helped you out, then drop a sub, check out some of my other content. Apart from that, bye for now. See ya.